Moving down the line, beginning with Stuart Waldman. What will you do specifically to improve the quality and opportunities in education for California's children?
Well, education is an important issue to me, as I stated earlier. I was actually a high school dropout, and I know how easy it is to get lost in the system. I like something Kansas City's doing. It's called Small Learning Communities, where they take 350 students, they start together, they end together. They have the same teachers, same counselors, parents get to know one another, the students have a support group built in by getting to know each other, and test scores have gone up and dropout rates have gone down. I actually think if I had something like that, I probably wouldn't have ended up dropping out. We also need to, as I mentioned before, focus on vocational studies. It is so important. Most of our kids are not going to college, and if they do go to college, most of them aren't finishing. It's a problem because we say to kids, there's only one way to go. You have to go to college. There are good, well-paying jobs that we can provide just by giving opportunities in vocational studies. Community college. I went to community college. I started there. We need to keep the fees down. It's important to, we also need to incentivize when people transfer. If you start at community college and you finish at a Cal State, your rate should be locked in the moment you start, so you don't have this fluctuation every semester when the UC Regents or the Cal State trustees decide to increase your tuition. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Bob Blumenfeld, what will you do specifically to improve the quality and opportunities in education for California's children?
Thank you. Good. 5 things. First, I would ensure that education continues to be and is one of the highest priorities we have in the state. Right now, we are spending less than the national average per capita. In 1978, we were spending $400 more per capita, and we were having a quality education system. Now we're $600 below. We need to fix that. Second, I would work on getting the actual money that goes to education to get to the classroom, not get caught up in the bureaucracy, sort of a 95-5 situation that we've talked about that has been proposed before, I would favor. Third, I would support our front lines, the teachers, the folks who are really out there educating our students. And what does this mean? It means increasing their voice in the management on campuses. It means giving them a voice in curriculum. It means making sure that they have decent pay and real benefits. That we remove things like something I've been working on federally is removing the WEP elimination provision so that they can actually get the retirement money that they deserve, and making sure that they have defined benefits and not just defined contributions. Fourth, I would restore vocational education to schools. This is critically important. A lot of children are not going on to college, and we need to make sure that they're not an easy mark for gangs, that they have a productive avenue to go to. We need to also increase coordination with LA Trade Tech and high schools and community colleges. And fifth, we need to restore the UC system, a degree program in education. Those are the 5 immediate things, but there's a tremendous amount that we need to do, and I want to work with you and work with the community to figure those things out. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Laurette Healy, what would you do specifically to improve the quality and opportunities in education for California's children?
I would return the funding decisions for schools back to the people that know the best in allocations, and that will be the districts and the counties and the cities from which those revenues come. What happened with Prop 13 was not just that it was repealed and the revenue source was taken away without a replacement to fund our schools. Something else very insidious happened. The state of California took over the allocation of funding to local school districts. This has been an abysmal failure because no 2 school districts are alike. No 2 students are alike. There are areas where it will cost more to educate a child, particularly in lower income areas where you need more money and you need different types of programs. I want to take money from the state legislature, which sounds like an oxymoron since I am intending to be one and wanting to be one, but the fact of the matter is that I don't think the state can universally allocate this type of thing on the local level. I am looking for the educators to have more local control and more local jurisdiction about educational decisions, and I think we will see a very large change as a result of that. That is one of the primary issues that I would like to address with respect to education for schools, because I think once we are able to solve the financial allocation problem, we'll be able to look at exactly what it is that we need on a district-by-district basis, and we will work with our educators to make sure that they actually know how to allocate this money in a way that meets the needs of the students. And that would be what I would do at first step.
Thank you, Lorette. Dan McCrory, what would you do specifically to improve the quality and opportunities in education for California's children?
Well, it all comes down to money, doesn't it? First thing I'd want to do is avoid the $4.8 billion cut in education funding that the governor's budget calls for. We have already dropped from 43rd in the nation for per pupil spending, from 43rd to 46th. That's as far as I want to go. I want to start building back. Those proposed cuts means a loss of $800 per student, about $24,000 per classroom. We've got to stop coming up with unfunded mandates also. There was something called IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or special education, that was to be funded. Yet some 30 years later, we're getting 17 cents on the dollar for funding, and the rest comes from the districts. Then kids with special needs take the brunt of anger from folks with parents who have want the lion's shares for their kids, for gifted, and et cetera. Even the highly touted No Child Left Behind from the Bush administration, that's never been fully funded. Yet it mandates many costly programs and judges the lack of student progress with heavy penalties. I support public education, teachers, and our students 100%. The shortfall in federal support since 2001 now exceeds $55 billion. It's wrong for Congress to keep making additional demands on our schools without providing the resources to meet those demands. We need to change the law to use multiple measures to gauge student learning and school successes. We can't have the one-day test that's just a snapshot that determines whether or not we're meeting the mandates of No Child Left Behind. Time spent on testing and test preparation has decimated important programs like art, music, foreign language, and physical education. We rank 49th in the nation, too, in the number of teachers per student. Congress should restore and enhance the federal class size reduction program with priority given to schools of greatest needs. No Child Left Behind has been a big mistake. We really need to retool it and make sure that it meets the needs of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.